Okay, our lesson for this video will be factoring sum and difference of two cubes. So I would like to correct on your module, what was written there is you're going to factor x to the fourth plus 64. So that is a clerical error. Let us try to correct that one. That's supposed to be x cubed plus 64. So we have here the formula to talk about sum and difference of two cubes. So obviously, this will be the one that is given to you, and you're going to solve for these answers, or you're going to solve for the factors of the sum and difference of two cubes. Now in this video, I will not be discussing this in straight English. We will be mixing this with Bisaya so that everyone will understand, or it is easier for you to understand the lesson. Okay, so if we can see here that we have a cubed plus b cubed, and the factored form of that expression, we will have two factors, a binomial and a trinomial. Likewise also with our difference of two cubes, we will have a binomial and a trinomial. But if we're going to evaluate the difference of the two, the given formula, they differ obviously in the sum and difference. Okay? And on the factors, if you can see in the first one, ngaray sa ato ang sum of two cubes, we will have addition or positive on our second term. The same likewise on our factor, we will have positive. And on the middle term of our trinomial factor is negative. Here is negative on our difference. The first factor binomial is negative. But on our trinomial factors, all are positive. So kung nato ang discussion karon o kung saan na pagpanita nato. So these are the key things that you're going to remember first in factoring our sum and difference of two cubes. If the given again is positive or plus or sum of two cubes, it will be plus on the first factor binomial, but on the second factor trinomial, the middle term is negative. On our difference of two cubes, that is minus on the first factor binomial, in our trinomial, tanan positive. Okay? So, how are we going to factor the first given there in your book or in your module? Again, let us try to correct that one. That is supposed to be x cubed plus 64. Okay? So, since the given is positive, the first factor binomial is positive. Okay? So, we will have two terms here on the first factor. Now, on the second factor, in which there is a trinomial, we will have what? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. If you can see that the last term on our trinomial is always positive. So, this one here is positive. And also, on our first term, since it does not bear a sign, that is understood to be positive. Let us try to identify the middle term. So if we can see here that it's positive here, so this is negative. And the challenge one is, how are we going to factor our cube and our 64 here? So that's very easy. So we're going to expand our x, that is x cubed. If you have x cubed, how many x's are there? So naay tulo. So we have 3. So let's write x, x, and x. So if you multiply x times x times x, that becomes x cubed. And let us try to think of a number that multiplied by itself 3 times, the product is 64. So let us try 1. 1 times 1 times 1, the answer is 1. Let's do 2. 2 times 2 times 2, the answer is 8. Let's try 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. About 4. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is? So we have 64. So therefore, we multiply 3 times by itself, the answer is 64. So therefore, this is 4 times 4 times 4, the answer is 64. So this factors here are the one that we're going to write in all of the blanks here on our first factor binomial and our second factor trinomial. This is very easy. So what we're going to do on our first factor binomial, we're going to select the or get first the first factor. So let us get the first x and our first 4. So that becomes x plus 4. Okay? Then, unsa may atong buhaton din sa atong trinomial? There are multiple ways in order for us to solve for that one. You can either square our binomial, our first and last term of binomial, to get the first and the last term of the trinomial. And we can multiply this one in order for us to get the middle term here. Or, we can simply get this one, our x times x, and that is x squared, or what is left after writing or copying the first x, we still have 2x, and that is x times x is x squared. And how about for 4? That is 4 times 4 is 16. Our problem now is the middle term. So now to identify for the middle term, what we're going to do is just multiply our first factor binomial. That is x times 4 is 4x. Easy. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. So on your modules, let's try this. So let us answer number 1. X cubed minus 64 y cubed. So if you can see, that's just closer on our first given. What is added only is our y cubed. Okay, so again, if we're going to factor sum and difference of two cubes, it will have a binomial factor and a trinomial factor. So, again, what we're going to do? So find or solve for the factor of our x cubed. That is x times x times x. Now for 64, that is the same with our first 4 times 4 times 4. And for y cubed, the same with x, y times y times y. Or since we multiply this one, that becomes 4y times 4y times 4y is equals to 64y cubed. Then, since the given is negative, our first factor binomial is negative. And for our trinomial, the middle term is opposite to our binomial, which is positive. So let's get the first x. So that is x. Now what is left is we have 2 x's, and that becomes x squared. Now for our second term on our binomial, let's get the 4y and multiply the remaining 2 4y's. That is 16y squared. Then to get for our middle term here, multiply this one, just multiply, and the product will be the one that is written on the middle term or factor trinomial. Multiply x times 4y is 4xy. Okay? So the rest, you solve 2 and 3 and just follow the steps, or you may follow the steps written on your modules, or you can do the steps that is being shown to you on this video. And if you have questions, just message our group on the messenger, and I am going to answer all your queries. Thank you.